Hello again. So in this part of the lesson, I'm going to show you how I would introduce the 5 steps to solving addition and subtraction word problems. I'm going to go step by step just like I would do for my students because I'm introducing something new that they haven't seen before. So basically these are the 5 steps to solving a word problem. It looks like this. Okay, the first step, I'm going to go by step, I'm not going to read each of them first. The first step tells me to read the problem twice, so I'm going to read it to you out loud. It says, Amelia made 34 cookies for her school bake sale. The first hour she sold 18. How many cupcakes did she have left? So this is the first example. I would clearly want my kids to just be their eyes on me. There's nothing in front of them. They're all just focused on the board, ready to see what each of these steps are. So I'm going to read my problem one more time. It says, Amelia made 34 cookies for her school bake sale. The first hour she sold 18. How many cupcakes did she have left? Okay, so I just completed my first step. My second step tells me to circle the important information, numbers and labels. Okay, so I always tell my kids the number and what the number is representing is important to circle. So in this problem, 34 cookies I would circle, and she sold 18. So just clearly just like that, circling what my important information is. Then my third step tells me to underline the question. The question always ends with a question mark. So very simply, how many cupcakes does she have left is my question, and I know that because it ends with a question mark. So I'm simply underlining it. It's clear to me what my question is asking. My fourth step tells me what operation should I use, solve the problem, and show your work. Okay, so I'm reading just from the steps, so you don't think I'm just reading on the couch. Okay, so I'm looking for those keywords that are telling me whether I'm going to add or subtract. In this problem, the word left is telling me they want me to subtract to figure out how many cupcakes were left because she had, sorry, not cupcakes, cookies. She had 34 cookies to start and she sold 18. So I'm going to subtract 34 minus 18. And I get 16 cookies. Okay, so I'm showing my work very clearly on the bottom here. Then my last step tells me to just write my answer in a complete sentence so the reader knows that this is my answer and it's clear. So I would write Amelia has 16 cookies left. I end it with a period because that makes it a complete sentence when you have a capital letter and a period. So very simple, just like that. Okay, I'm going to show you one more just so you can clearly see again. So I'm reading the next problem twice. It says Lily has 30 pieces of candy. Rick has 27 pieces of candy. How many pieces of candy do they have in all? Okay, I'm going to read it one more time because that's my first step. Reading it twice. Lily has 30 pieces of candy. Rick has 27 pieces of candy. How many pieces of candy did they have in all? So I'm reading the problem twice. Just read it twice, completed my first step. My second step tells me to circle the important information. In parentheses, I have numbers and labels. So I'm circling 30 pieces of candy and 27 pieces of candy to show me that's my important information in the problem. My third step shows me to underline the question. So how many pieces of candy do they have in all? Okay. My fourth step is asking me what operation I'm going to use and to solve the problem and make sure I show all my work. So that's a lot of steps in one, but basically shows them, you know, it's time to solve the problem, time to figure out whether you have to add or subtract. So in this, I decided that in all tells me to add. They want to know my total amount, pieces of candy that I have. So I'm going to write down 30 plus 27, and I get 57 pieces. The in all part told me that I need to add. And I always tell my students that most of the time they find whether they're going to add or subtract, that's in their question. Sometimes not, sometimes they trick you, but in this sense right now that they're just getting the idea of what operation they need to use to solve. Okay, my last step is telling me to write my answer in a complete sentence. So they have 57 pieces of candy. Just like that. Okay. And after I showed them the first one or two of them, then I would be giving them a worksheet. Looks like this. Sorry, I couldn't find it for a second. It's titled Addition and Subtraction Word Problems. The first two were just like the ones we did, so this is the time I would allow them to fill those in, because like I said to you before, I really want my kids to be focused on me, and when they have materials in front of them, they get distracted. I'd also be handing out their whiteboards, their markers, again, making sure that they have cubes, if they want to use their cubes to show all of their work. And to use that to use the cubes in addition to using the whiteboards, or if they want to use one or the other, that's fine with me. Okay, so they're going to be giving this worksheet. They're going to be working in their groups. Their groups are mixed based on their ability levels and based on, I have a lot of cultural kids in my classroom. Well, I did. So I like to mix them up so they all have different ideas and opinions on things. I like to mix them up and let them see, like, you know, how each other are different or similar in ways. So like I said, 7 problems. They'll be showing their work. We'll be doing it as a class. So we'll be going around. I'll have them up on the smart board. Sorry, I have a PowerPoint. So the kids will be coming up and solving them, or I might have them all be sitting and they're showing me in their seats, and I'll have them hold up their whiteboards or show me their cubes on their tables, and I'll be walking around the room constantly checking in, making sure everyone's on task and following along and being where they're supposed to be. So this is their worksheet for that. And then for their independent work, there's a fancy dancy worksheet that looks like this. It's called Countable Count. And same thing, addition and subtraction word problems. This activity, I would like them to really work by themselves. They can always ask questions to their neighbors. They sit pretty close to them, right next door. But this is the time that I really want to see what they know. So they're working at their seats. I might be conferencing in with them, seeing what they're still struggling with, what they really understand, or if there's any misconceptions that they don't get, things like that. So this is their independent time.